Hey everybody, so hope everyone is doing well out there on YouTube land. Today we are going to do something pretty exciting. We are going to be working on the hair in this portrait, so I'm happy about that. Just give me a few moments. Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope everyone is having a very good day. This is Memorial Day here in the United States. I know a lot of people having barbecues, having fun. I was hanging out in the studio and I thought I would just go ahead and do a really cool live feed for you, a live stream. This is going to be very interesting to say the least, because about last week, a couple days ago, we were working on this portrait, and as we were working on this portrait, we worked on the face. As you can see, the background on the hair had frisket on it. The face and all her fleshy areas were actually uncovered. So today what I went and did was I covered the face and her flesh here, and then I cut with frisket, cut out the hair. Not like all crazy with all little hairs coming out in curls, because she has very curly hair. But what I did was to cut out the large shapes. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead, because the face is frisket, the background is frisket, we're just going to work on the hair. Start out with the light areas and then go over with the dark areas. So I pre-mixed some colors. And do me a favor, if you're out on Facebook or YouTube, do me a really big favor. Just put a quick comment. Let me know that sound and video is okay. I am a one-man band here, so it'll be greatly appreciated. There's always hiccups in the beginning of a live stream, so if we can circumvent that early as possible, we'll make a much better live stream for everybody. So let's see. Okay, so basically I mixed a couple of colors. For the lighter colors of her hair, I mixed this, which is red iron oxide, transparent red iron oxide, and some Hansel yellow, and then some white. Now the color was a little strong, so I had to put some of the complement color, which was the blue, calmed it down a bit. So that's going to be our light areas. I'm just going to do a quick tone over the hair. And then for the dark, but not the dark accents, I mixed some raw umber and some Van Dyke brown, and kept it transparent pretty much, didn't add any white. And I water these down, well, because I use fluid acrylics, so I water it down to, let's say, with the acrylic medium, actually the airbrush medium by Golden, that gets it to normal airbrush thinness, and then I actually water it down with the high flow medium by Golden, which pretty much waters it down to skin milk consistency. So that really helps a lot. And Jacob, how you doing, man? Good to see you. So Jacob, you're on Facebook, right? Cool. Thank you so much, man. That really helps. How's the sound? How's the picture quality? Okay? Oh, cool. Very cool. How you doing, Jacob? Good to see you, man. So what we're going to do is we are going to load up my airbrush. This is the Custom Micron, the CMC Plus. And we're going to do it with the lighter color first. Let's see. Okay. So we have that loaded in the airbrush here. I'm going to get a test paper, because I definitely want to test on on my surface, that would be disastrous. As you know, especially in the beginning, sometimes the chucking needle isn't tight, or the needle is a little bit back. You press it, that could be horrible. That's for sure. And I'm sure you've all been there, right? That's very easy to for that to happen. Great. So I'm glad to hear it. Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate it. So anyone out there in YouTube land, let me know if you guys are experiencing good sound and good audio. So let me see if I can pull up the actual picture. I know that Jacob said in a live stream yesterday that the picture would help, the reference. So let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this, and it's just going to be one moment. So we can add files, videos, images. So we're just going to go to pictures, and this is our photo. This is our reference. Let's see if I could go ahead and just flip this or rotate it so we see it pretty much the same. Okay, so that's our reference. This is what we're working on. So right now we are going to go ahead and start with the lighter colors, and I am going to go to my reference. See. All right, cool. So we have this sort of light yellowish color. I'm going to test it out. This is just going to be my light. So what I'm doing is I am just creating a layer, so when I do scratch, that this golden color will actually be there. I have the magnets down because I don't want any overspray. You definitely want to protect from overspray as much as possible. There's going to be some overspray. Exactly. Oh, hey, Jonathan, good to see you, man. Thank you so much for the heads up on the audio. And of course, you know, I'm actually going to come in later with some thick, heavy-bodied acrylics and do the highlights as well. Anything goes with airbrush. Airbrush is a renegade technique anyway. I mean, it's a renegade medium. Anyone to tell you that there's a certain way you should do it is almost ridiculous, because it's not a classical medium. So how's it going, Jonathan? You might hear the airbrush. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. See, there's no fear of ruining or damaging any of the hard work we did on the face. And you don't want to overload, you know, same thing when we were doing the work on, you know, paper. We definitely don't want to overload the surface. And then what happens is the paint will start to bead, and that will cause some problems. So we definitely don't want to do that at all. So I'm curious, are we seeing everything on YouTube? Because I haven't got any comments on YouTube, but it could be that people are just hanging out at a barbecue or something. There's a good website. If you ever go to Golden website, in Google, try this, guys. It's called Golden Paint Mixer. And just go ahead and Google that, and it'll bring you to a site. And it's a virtual paint mixer. And what you can do, upload your image, and it'll actually, you can actually put your cursor on different areas of the photo that you're working on, and it'll actually tell you how to mix it, which is really wild. I've been mixing colors for a very long time, and sometimes sometimes, not always, but sometimes I get, you know, a little perplexed, like how in the world am I going to mix that color? Yeah, thanks. That was definitely your idea. So thank you, Jacob. I really appreciate that. Do me a favor if you can, Jacob. Could you go on YouTube and just see if I'm there? If you don't mind, if you have time. That's my compressor going off. So I'm getting some really good paint flow with this lighter color. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about wasting paint. Hey, Jacob, great. So how's the sound and picture quality on YouTube? Thank you, man. That was quick. So, oh, great. Thank you so much, Jake. Now, if you're on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, you're going to get double audio. So just let you know that. Denise had that trouble last week. So I think I have this whole thing down, Jacob. Oh, you're on the phone. Cool. I think I have this down. What I do is I first put the live feeds on private, work out all the kinks, and then go live and make the continue to go live, but just make it public. Let's see here. So as you can see, I'm just establishing this golden color, which will be the lights. And this is my plan so far, is I'm going to go over it with this mixture here, this dark color, and then maybe just scratch lightly, and hopefully this lighter color will be here, and I don't have to use the white except for the highlights. So let's see if this theory works. You know, worst that can happen is we learn something. Now her hair is really curly and everything, but we're going to do that with paintbrush techniques later. We're not going to worry about that. That would have been really ridiculously trying to cut that with the brisket. I don't have the patience for that, guys. Oh, fantastic. So I'm glad that the reference really does help. So I like this one. This is the CMC Plus. It has the cup. So it's a little less scary than the side feed. I have both the CMC, I have both the Micron side feed and the Eclipse side feed. They're great for precision because you don't have this cup in front of you. But they don't hold as much paint. Okay, so maybe what we'll do is we'll leave that and then maybe start to build some of the darks. Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's much better. So I'm glad I'm able to do that for you guys. Thanks, Henry, for that suggestion yesterday. That was very cool. Okay, so let's move over to here. So now I have this one right here, which is my Eclipse, the HP SBS. It's one of my favorite airbrushes. Honestly, I can probably get exactly what I can get with the custom Micron, honestly. It's just really fantastic. So we're just going to pour some of this mixture. Once again, Van Dyke Brown, Raw Umber, and that's it. Van Dyke Brown, Raw Umber. And so this is not the darkest dark, but the medium dark, and then we'll do the dark accents. So hopefully it'll work out. But we're going to go in with paintbrush technique, so it's gonna be a little bit different, but I'm pretty excited about it. So let's go ahead. Now, when we're working with this camera, okay, this camera here. So when we're working with this here, we definitely, since we're going straight down, we want to turn the cup like that. So it's a little tricky. And I'm going to go to my reference, and then, so I'll come back and forth to see your comments, guys. So right now I'm going to go to my reference. Okay. So let's go on this side here, test it. And we're just going to build our darks, guys. And what a really good airbrush teacher taught me years ago, David Morton, he said, make sure you let the paint catch up to the surface, meaning don't continue laying down the wet paint on the surface. You want the acrylic to dry and adhere, and then you can go to the next layers. See if I can move move this over here, protect that. Okay, so this way we don't have as much lifting over there, that one corner. Now Frisket does tend to lose its adhesion, especially on a surface like mine. My surface is a mixture of marble dust and gesso on the wood, and there's a tooth to it. And I like that because if I want, I can add pastel, I can use sandpaper, I can do a number of things to it, and pretty much be rough on it, and get a varied amount of techniques. Yeah, me too, Jonathan. That is the best, right? I'm really glad, Jake. I'm glad that you can really follow along now with that picture that I have there. I'm gonna slowly move the Frisket. Let me So these magnets are crucial. And so I'm just going to very slowly push this magnet over here just to keep a lot of the lifting going on. Okay. So once again, we'll turn this here. If you find that there's lifting coming this way, then I always paint the opposite direction. And this way I won't have any underspray. You know, paint crawling underneath the frisket. Now there's going to be some, you know, after we lift this, there's going to be a lot of really hard edges. There might be some issues with the frisket here. But the main thing is that the face stays really clean. Hey Wendy, good to see you. How are you? So this is pretty cool. We got Wendy here, we got Jonathan and Jacob. So I'm very happy. Oh, well this is actually wood panel, Wendy. Hey Vladimir, good to see you. This is actually wood panel, so with the frisket, I would never use a frisket on paper. It would just tear it apart. And so as you can see, I use the wood with the marble dust and gesso, so it's really durable. I could do anything to this this surface, and it would be just fine. Hey, good to see you, Vladimir. Thank you so much for that compliment, Wendy. I appreciate it. What's the temperatures like in New Mexico today? Yeah, now I learned the hard way over the years. I used to actually put frisket on illustration board. That works, but one day you'll get a strong piece of frisket and then try lifting it from the illustration board, and I actually tore up part of the outer layer. 104, oh my God. That is hot. See guys how I'm building up this dark and taking my time. But yeah, definitely taking my time. I have some really good erasers. I have a razor blade, and I'm gonna start maybe doing some scratching here. See how it works out, because a lot of times, sometimes it works out, sometimes it causes problems. But we have acrylic paint and the regular paintbrush, so if any problems, we can work on it together. 120s in Texas. Oh my God. Yeah, I heard that in New Mexico it isn't that humid, and that makes a big difference. Is that true, Wendy? Now see with the side feed, I'm already out. See, I'm already out of paint. So that is, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little more in. Not over my painting, that would be bad. So make sure you put the paint in your airbrush away from your painting, not over it. I only say that because I made that mistake. You know, I know that seems silly, but I did it. So, I mean, it could happen. Painter's tape is okay, but I really like to have the mask, the freehand sheet, I mean the frisket, so I can see where I'm cutting. and it just seems to me easier. But yeah, painter's tape works good too, that's for sure. I like the Frisket because you can take the Frisket and put it on your arm, stick it on your arm, and do that a couple of times. It takes away some of the adhesion, and that helps. See how the surface is feeling. I'm going to do one more layer, and then we'll do some little scratching techniques, and we'll just continue getting darker and darker and working little by little. Yes, the shade, that's crucial, right? Oh my goodness. So Jake, where are you located? Okay, let's see what's happening. Getting a little bit of a spurt here. I'm just going to blow out the airbrush a little bit. Let's see. Okay. And as I'm getting darker, I might go ahead and glaze some black over that. Oh, these are all magnets, and for each corresponding magnet on this side, there's a magnet underneath. And what it does, it keeps the Frisket in place. Because as I mentioned earlier, Frisket is good, but the adhesion goes away. Now, the great thing is that this is very low tack, and there's hardly any glue residue, if any. I don't even know what it's like to have glue residue with this Frisket. So you can see how it is really staying for me. You know where you can get these magnets really great? At the Home Depot. They have those magnets. You can purchase them there. I think Lowe's would also have them. Oh, that's great. So that's really fantastic, Jacob. So that's cool that you're working on your background at the same time. Yeah, the Home Depot is great. I'm there all the time. My friend works at Lowe's, so I have to say good things about Lowe's too. Oh, Jonathan, good to see you, man. I hope you have a good day, and talk to you soon. So, North Carolina, very cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my airbrush, and let's see, let's let this dry a little bit. But as you can see, we're starting to get some really good darks here, and we're going to build that up slowly. We're in no rush. But I'm going to go to my reference. Yeah, Lowe's is great. It is true. It's a little upper, right? Little upper echelon than Home Depot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see, it's still wet, but let me see. If we can do some scratching techniques here. But in reality, I might probably opt for working with paintbrush techniques here. Let's see. because I'm not a real big fan of how this is working right now, but we'll test it out. That's why I like that quote that I said today on Facebook. Do what scares you and do it often, and then your competition is going to be scared of you. So here I am, not sure how I'm going to handle this hair, but I'm going to work on it anyway. And I think, honestly, we can work on some of the hair here, but something tells me I think it might be best to just continue with the darks and maybe go ahead and paint it like maybe Caravaggio would paint it, right? And I think that would be good. Wow, 6 is pretty good. Yeah, I think every 2 months to create a major painting is that's really very good. So if you can do a major painting in 2 months, that's pretty productive. I have a hard time doing that, especially with the teaching, that I do now. I would say I'm able to do 3 major paintings. That's about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go a little darker here. And after maybe another 2 coats of this, I'm going to actually add some black, and we're just going to continue building up the hair. See, what we're going to have to do, there's going to be some really hard edges once we lift the frisket on the face. We're going to have to soften that. We're going to have to do some paintbrush techniques over here because these are all very general shapes here. So right now I'm just really making sure, guys, that I'm not overloading the surface with paint. Okay, make sure that this cup here is facing the right way. The side feed a little scarier than the cup, that's for sure, than the C plus. May also go ahead and get some magnets here, maybe over here and over there, and when I go, and I'll take a few moments and get some of the black and a different cup of this, add some black to this mixture. I have a little piece of paper here because when I repositioned the frisket over the face and her skin, there was a little bit of a gap there, right here. So I put some paper with a magnet just to keep that clean. You want to definitely make sure that frisket is always kept clean. It's true. I think there's a good combination of that. You do want those high quality ones, but I'm learning, and this might be something that you might want to do or not do, Jacob, that doing these like 2-hour ones really helps me with control with the airbrush. You know those little India ink ones I'm doing? Those are really great. It's really increasing my confidence with the airbrush. So I highly recommend doing some quick ones too. Quick ones that are, you know, sort of serious but not too serious. Those help a lot. But yes, definitely you want to concentrate on your major paintings. Yeah, you know, just push the technique, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. Always pushing the technique with drawing and with painting, and definitely with airbrush more, just really seeing where I can take it. So this is great. We got Jacob over there on Facebook, and Wendy on no, Jake's on YouTube, Wendy's on Facebook, and we're all seeing the comments. I'm one of the first people to do that I know of, and it's not easy, guys. I know last week when I did it, and like I think last Wednesday when I first tried it, there was some horrible double rate, guys. Did you hear that horrible double voices? It was pretty scary. And yesterday I did a test as well, and I had the double voices too. But that's all part of the growing pains with this live stream stuff. I definitely want it to be the best. So right now you see we're just starting to get the, but definitely we have to get some darker colors, right? We gotta sort of work in some of those darks. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate that so much. You know, you guys' support and always being so encouraging is really important for me, and I don't think I can do it without you guys. That's for sure. So you can see with this crazy angle here I got, let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the other studio. That's where my bone black is. And I'm also going to do something else. I forgot. Okay, so hopefully I'll just make this one trip, so I will be right back, guys. So be right back. Hey, thank you so much for waiting, guys. I couldn't find my bone black. That means I have to really clean my other studio out. But I do have this one here. Let's see if you can see it. We'll go with the different camera here. Let's see. Okay, so there it is. This is bone, actually carbon black, and it's a little cooler. Bone black is more of a natural organic color, you know, hence the bone. So that is, that's why I would prefer that color, that's for sure. Oh man, I'm glad you found it as well. Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this color and we're going to take some of this mixture, not pour it in there because we want to save some of that. Not that we can't mix it again, but still, why go to that trouble? And then we're going to put some of that in there. And so let's get some of this carbon black here. Whenever you shake these, always keep your finger here, even if you know that the cap is tight, because even if it's tight, sometimes these fail. You go like this and there was paint everywhere. Believe me, I know some of my ideas are like silly ideas only because I went through it. It's not because I think that, you know, you guys are going to do that, but unfortunately if I did it, there's a chance you guys might unfortunately do that. Sometimes there's a little bit of paint stuck in here. It's a real pain. I think Golden has to really create a better paint dispensing system. I'm just going to pull this out. This should help us. Let's see. Let's see. So when this happens, we're just going to just take the cap off. Whoop, a little bit of dry paint in there. That would cause a problem. That'll go right into our airbrush and just make our day really bad. So basically what I'm doing is taking some of this bone black and putting that in our mixture here. So we get a really nice rich dark. This is the Golden High Flow, so you really don't have to thin it out too much. I'm going to make this a really dark color. Let's see, if it might be too dark, that could happen. But at least what we can do is we can establish some of those really rich darks. So this one here has already emptied out the Van Dyke Brown and Raw Umber combination. So let's just pour a little bit in there. There we go. Okay, so we are going to test this out on our scrap paper here. Okay, this is almost black. So we're just going to lightly go over some of these areas. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go to my reference. And let's see if we can establish some of the really dark areas here. So this is really thick. I think it's from that black. I'm getting some bubbling in the cup. I mean, if that continues, we are definitely not going forward. I'm going to empty some of this because it's way too black too early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just empty out a little bit of this, and then what I'm going to take our original mixture here, I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to do that off screen. Mix that really good with a little wooden stick. And what I like to do is that there's still some of that really dark, you know, really like over here. So I'm going to spray that out. So So let's see how this works, guys. So remember, since I'm sort of painting horizontal, I got to make sure I adjust this cup, especially since I have quite a bit of, see right here's our test paper. It's almost pure black. Okay, so I still am not happy with it. So it's okay to, take your time. I'm gonna dump that out again and add some more of this color, the original color, original Raw Umber Van Dyke Brown color. And see if I'm happy with it. Let's make sure I wipe my hand. Yeah, you want to be a stickler. You better make sure that you want the color that you really want. I'm going to blow this out a little bit. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and just mix it over again. I don't want to put a color I'm not happy with. So let's see here. Okay, so it's not as dark as it was, and if I go really light, I can do some sort of a dark glaze, so that would be cool. So let me go back here, guys. So I'm at my reference right now, and I'm just going to very quickly do a dark dusting over here. Even black can be transparent if you are working lightly. Thank God we have the Frisket, because this would do some really horrible overspray on the face. Actually, I'm pretty happy with it, because when I'm working lightly over it, we're still retaining some of that nice sepia dark color that we're looking for. The great thing is I don't really have to go crazy with the dark, because I'm going to be going in with some freehand shields and paintbrush techniques. So it's going to be, we have so many different options, so we can go in a different direction on the fly, which is cool. When we lift this Frisket, it's going to really look nice. Right now it looks like I kind of have an afro thing going on here with this. So this is all, the background is all Frisket. This is all this overspray. Once we remove this, you're going to see a beautiful hard edge, both from her face and neck area, and also with the background. It's going to be a little harsh, we're going to have to go ahead and take care of them as far as those edges, work on those edges together. But it's nice, we can establish some really nice hard edges here. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to get to that level, and then we'll stop, just showing you like how to use the frisket. Hey man, I'm happy that I could definitely help you out. Your enthusiasm and Wendy, your enthusiasm, both your passion for art has really helped and inspired me as well. And then I can go ahead and do some really nice frisket work, because just on the edges here, it's really quite light. Okay, so we're running out. So we're going to reload, and remember, we don't want it to get too dark. So we're going to mix the original color. So it looks pretty funny right now, guys, but once we lift that frisket, we're going to be happy. We'll put some of this here. Too much. This carbon black is really strong, guys. Definitely the magnets is going to be an amazing purchase for you. They're really inexpensive. So it's going to make your life a lot easier. So I have this little stick here, and I'm just going to mix the paint in the cup. I'm going to do a quick test. First, see if we are not too dark. Ooh, you hear that? A little tip dry. Okay, got a nice brown in here, so that's not bad. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and hit some of those larger dark areas here. Okay, so we're going to see if we can dry this a little bit, and just going to remove the frisket. So let's dry this a little bit so we can remove the frisket, and you can see the beautiful hard edge and also the not so beautiful hard edge, because we're going to have to do a lot of fixing. So anyway, I could go ahead and try something here with the razor blades and see how that would work. But I think we'll definitely wait on that, because you see we can. It's still a little wet, so I don't want to. But right now I don't have to worry about edge work, because right now we will remove all the frisket, and that will help a lot. And just to gauge from there, we'll use freehand shields going forward. So let's go ahead and remove the magnets. See right there, good thing we covered that. I really appreciate that, Wendy. Thanks so much. So watch when we remove this. Right now it looks kind of like, oh my God, what did Tim do? He destroyed his painting. But we are going to lift this frisket, and hopefully we'll see that we still have a lot to do, but at least we have a good point of departure. And we built up these darks, right? So okay, move this over here. Okay, so we have wet paint here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll lift this right here. Dun dun dun. Yes, the unveiling. It's gonna be scary. Okay. Like I said, it's going to be very crude in its shape, but that's why we're going to come in with paintbrush techniques. And some scratching. So what I do is I put the frisket on the wall so I can reposition it later when I need to. Uh-oh, we're not connected to, I guess I'm going to go ahead and reconnect to the YouTube chat. Let's see. And chat. Okay, we'll come back. There we are. That'll bring us back. Okay, that happens. You know, that's weird with YouTube. It just sort of, the chat widget for my program just sort of goes away. So here we go, lifting this. So you're going to see we have a lot of work, but we have a nice clean image now as far as what we got to do with the hair. So we can at least begin a game plan. So you see we have a pretty good, a nice dark here. And then what we're going to do is, you know, get a paintbrush and we'll do some of the, you know, the curls, and maybe now we could actually establish some of the scratching techniques. So we'll do a quick test here. Let's see. Okay. So let's say like right over here we have some areas here we might we can do a little scratching with the razor blade. So establish some of those lights. But I'm thinking I'm going to try both. I'm going to do some scratching techniques. And you can see, remember we did that sort of golden color underneath? It is showing through. Because that dried and then this one's above it. But I'm thinking, oh thanks Wendy. I'm thinking, yes, so Frisket's great, Jacob. So definitely use it when you get the chance. I'm sure you do already, but it's great. Love Frisket. So we can do some of the scratching techniques, but what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking perhaps we could try some paintbrush techniques with the lighter color and see if we could, once this sort of dries a little better, and that will be our next live stream, is we're going to go ahead and, so we have a lot of work to do, as you can see. Especially here, you see like her hair here, we have a lot of refining to do, and there's a lot of hairs coming out over here, but at least we have that really nice base color, right? So I'm happy with that. I really am. So I really hope that this so far is helpful. So you can see we do have the option to do some you know, scratching techniques if we want to, but I'm thinking of going in with paint and then doing scratching techniques with that. So definitely, so we'll definitely do that. We'll work on, you know, how we map out, just as we were doing with the drawing yesterday. We will go ahead and you know, sketch out where some of that hair is, work on different areas of the hair, and then also work on these contours. This is very rough, but you see there's no frisket on it now, and we have some nice edges. But notice something that's really interesting is that this looked very dark, her skin color, and because it was all white around her. But now that we put the darker the hair, we realize we can definitely go darker with the skin tone. So it's simultaneous contrast, I believe it's called. So we can definitely work on that. Once we work on the hair, we got some softening of edges over here that we have to do. Same thing with over here, needs to be soft. So we have our work cut out for us, but I think we got a really good, let me just take this and rotate this this way. So we definitely can see we have a pretty good start, right? I'm pretty happy with where we are right now. And so stick with me. We're going to get through this together. And so I was figuring, so tomorrow's Tuesday, maybe tomorrow night, hopefully tomorrow night, or maybe tomorrow during the afternoon, we can go ahead and continue. But don't worry if you don't see it. I'm going to keep it on YouTube, so you guys will still catch it. So Wendy and Jake, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Take care, guys.